Well, the sports spotlight, even though it's a Sunday, it never stops shining. And this week, I want to bring back a buddy of mine, like a brother, right? Luigi Squigee Castillo. I am so glad to have you back, sir.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for having me. You are my big brother, man. So many years of knowing each other, and your story is unique with George Steinbrenner, and we have to be thankful for that man for taking us a lot of youth off the streets from the Bronx, New York, and from the New York tri-state area. We all have unique stories, and we're thankful to Mr. Steinbrenner and the Steinbrenner family and the Yankees.
Well, look at Ray Negron posted again today about how, the Yankees continue to visit public schools. And to me, like the legacy never ends. And that's something he started, and Raymond and you and Nick Singh are all picking up and carrying.
Yeah, it's very important, Alex, what Steinbrenner has done when he was an owner and coming to the Bronx and visiting these diverse schools and showing that he cares and it's not just baseball and Ray Negron carrying on that tradition and trying to pass down that baton to me, Nick, and a couple of us, and also a new bat boy, Alex Rodriguez now, who's with the Yankees on the home side, also does a lot of charity, for his community. So Steinbrenner definitely his legacy. We appreciate what he's done for so many, and we just want to continue it. And hopefully, we can make peace and love in this world for our following generation.
I was just thinking that the current Bat Boy Alex Rodriguez, and then sort of the Bat Boy was in the picture big time when Aaron Judge was on his way to 62. So I got to ask you this because we all know you were there in 1998, and that was one day. Okay, we're not talking about a stretch of games. We're talking about one day, but the anticipation of a
Mhm.
perfect game. Would you equate that to the anticipation of 62? Is there a similarity there? And as a Bat Boy, how would you have handled that? With the same, would you have handled it with the same calm and demeanor that you did with David Cohn's perfect game?
Wow, that's a great question, Alex. The perfect game wasn't expected. There are similarities because it's pressure, but where the difference is Judge knew what he was going for, and it mounted pressure for him. But I think Alex Rodriguez, the bat boy, carried himself with I consider Alex his good luck charm. And why? Because you see how a bat boy is very important in a lot of these players' lives during the season because the bat boy takes a lot of pressure off these players on and off the field. And David Cohn's perfect game, it was just like a regular normal day, and there was a rain delay, and usually starters don't come back to play in a game. They usually take them out so they preserve the player from getting injured. So David wanted to go back out there and told Torrey he wanted to go back out there, and uh, as later on, in the third inning when the rain delay happened, he didn't have anybody to warm up. So he called upon my name. And a lot of people don't know this, that me and David, everyone thinks that, we build a relationship after the perfect game. Before the perfect game in 1998, I did a lot of warming up with David Cohn during batting practice and Mel Stottlemyre. And David would teach me how to pitch, almost like a father to son kind of little combo, because I was a pitcher in a summer league and I wanted to become a better pitcher. And David took his time to teach me his skills to add it on to mine, and it worked out. So during the perfect game rain delay, the day of his perfect game, the rain delay, he asked me to warm him up because Joe Girardi was, getting ready to put on his gear and he needed to go right on the spot. And he only had like probably 15, 20 minutes to warm up. So I was walking out the clubhouse door and David Cohn called me and said, "Hey, you got a ball squeeze? You got a glove?" I said, "I got one and I got one in hand." And we warmed up in the bowels of Yankee Stadium. And take people back, in the old stadium, the pipes were real low in the tunnel right in front of the Yankees clubhouse. So Cone was skipping them off the roof and felt kind of bad for me and said, "Hey, Squeeze, you want to go on the field and continue warming up?" And at this point, I was nervous more than probably he was because he never showed any nervousness on the mound. He was a gamer. and we did more warming up, and I skipped one back to him, the last one. Nonchalant picks it up, and he throws the ball back to me. He goes, "Thank you, kid." And I kept the ball in my back pocket, not thinking about a perfect game. Just basically, I warmed up with my childhood idol during a game that he started. And in the ninth inning, he pitches a perfect game, a pop up to Scott Brocious, and he dropped his knees like a kid. And it's one of the most historical moments in Yankee history. And it couldn't happen to a better man, Mr. David Cone. And to compare that to Aaron Judge, the moment is big because a perfect game rarely happens, and you don't see a lot of 60+ home run hitters and chasing Babe Ruth and Roger Maris records. So yes, it has the similarities, but the difference is, one was a pitcher and one was a hitter, and one was my good friend. And I'm just so happy for Aaron Judge that what he's doing and kind of being the captain, and hopefully he returns to the Yankees because he is a true leader, and you can see a David Cohn and Derek Jeter in him in the Yankee clubhouse.
Am I allowed to talk about what we texted about after the ALCS ended, which was Coney for manager? I mean, look, Aaron,
Yes, yes.
Aaron's coming back, but down the road, look, Coney's great with you. He's great on he's great on ESPN. He has the managerial chops, doesn't he?
A lot of people say it, and people might think I'm biased because he's my good buddy, my good friend. Excuse me. But David really brings that old school feel, Alex, and he's into the analytics. No one's better than David at this. And not putting it and saying disrespecting anyone in the game like that our analysts and our reporters and our broadcasters, but David brings you both in one. And even when I'm sitting with him at his couch at his apartment in the city, he's just into games. He knows about minor leaguers. He sits there and tells me things I never knew of, and it blows my mind. And when he's calling a game in a broadcast, he just makes you feel like you're there at the stadium, and he gives you the visual, and that's unique. And he's a player's, if he was to coach, he would definitely be a player friendly manager or coach because he knows the game. He knows that it has a heartbeat, and he's just, what his eye sees, he calls it. So we need that kind of stuff because numbers aren't always right, but he plays both sides of the fence, which is amazing to see, and a talent to have, and a skill to have. So I think, hopefully one day down the road, uh, that he either manages, which I really would love to see him be a manager for, if it's not the Yankees, maybe back home in Kansas City where he started, or maybe for the Mets or the Blue Jays. But David definitely belongs, uh, you know, calling the game and managing the game.
Right, especially because it's a sunset almost for a guy like Dusty Baker, who's 73 now. So my point is that the older managers, the old guard, is leaving, right? And so
Yeah.
eventually, so maybe David should be in the wings. Okay, I want to get to
Mm-hmm.
one lucky baseball, but before that, I asked Raymond Avila, this former Bat Boy, as well. Do you guys
Mm-hmm.
have connections with the current Bat Boys?
Yeah, I have a connection with Alex Rodriguez through Rain Negron. We did a community service event together in the Bronx for a CS 55 school. Great kid. He asked me for some tips of being a bat boy and how was it during the dynasty era. We talk a lot through Instagram. We direct message each other. He's a good kid. Definitely, like Ray Negron passed the baton to me from the '70s to the '90s, and I feel the baton now is Alex. And I was pulling for him to get a World Series championship because the kid's been there a couple of years, and the players love him, and you can see the way he carries himself on and off the field. And I told him, I wish him always the best, and I'm pulling for him to get this World Series ring so he can be a part of the Bat Boy Fraternity Championship Club.
Right, and 98. Oh my. When you heard the comparisons to 98, were you like, let's calm down a minute? It's only the first half of the season. They got another.
I mean, we were up like what, 25 games in the first
Right,
half, and
15. Isn't that crazy? Yep.
yeah, and it's that was a great atmosphere to be a part of. That team is probably the I put that team up against any New York Yankees team or any baseball team, past, current, and past, because those guys in every position, and even the utility guys and starters and relief pitchers, knew the role. Everybody gave 100% every day. And when you lost the game, it wasn't a lot of losing streaks. I mean, towards the end, we went into the playoffs like kind of limping, but we won 125 games and 50 losses combined with playoffs and World Series and regular season. I mean, these guys were winners. You took the ball. It didn't matter if it was David Wells, David Cohn, Andy Pettit. It didn't matter who it was. El Duque. It just didn't matter. You knew you were going to get a quality start, and you knew you were going to get the best out of them. And, from the hitter's standpoint, you had guys, we had defense and offense. It was like these guys never made a mistake. And it feels like they had like cold hearts and no pressure. And that's the kind of team that you want to see every time take the field. I guess us Yankee fans, Alex, I'm saying it myself. We got spoiled. So when we lose now, it kind of hits harder
Big
because
time, right? Oh,
all those years of winning, you got Steinbrenner got us accustomed to being the best, and that '98 team set the standard and set the bar high. And as a bat boy, when I was in the dugout or in the clubhouse, I mean, these guys would just talk about it. Didn't matter who was pitching against us. Could have been Pedro Martinez. I mean, Pedro is a Hall of Famer, and we were not intimidated. Players were intimidated to come to the Bronx, the old Yankee Stadium, and I feel now, because I've been to a couple of games at the new stadium, I don't feel the visiting players are intimidated. Like they feel like they're comfortable. And seeing the Houston Astros uh, and their fan base at our stadium, I was in shock to see how many uniforms of the Houston Astros and T-shirts that were in the stands in the new stadium. In the old stadium, you saw like one or two Boston fans, but I mean they had sections. So I don't feel that we're intimidating teams anymore because the New York Yankees in 1998 and the dynasty run, we were tough to beat, and they were like, we were a target. Now we are the chasers, so it makes it more different now.
all right. I didn't mean to go down memory lane. I just want to talk to you about your book. Before we get there again, as you're talking about this 25 years next year, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But that Bam Tino Grand Slam, take us through that at bat, take us through that moment, because obviously it was a changing moment in that World Series.
Oh man, we were down, and Big Bambino Tino, I call him. Tito, he always used to talk to his bats before batting practice and see if they had hits in them for the game. And he was very calm, focused, beady eyes, ready, locked in. And when he was on the on deck circle, he put on the weighted the heavy weight on the bat, and he's swinging and he's taking these swings, and you hear the woof, and I'm right like below him in the dugout, and you just see him practicing against the pitcher, like timing him. And when he got to the plate, and you hear the silence in the crowd, and when he took that hack and that ball went to the upper tank, I mean, come on. The stadium wanted to crumble, come down. We're in the dugout. Don Zimmer, who's like at that time probably like 60 in his 60s, mid 60s, he literally jumped up. I never seen an old man jump up like that onto the top step and just pump his fist. And the emotion in that dugout, and just seeing Tino round first base, and we knew it was a grand slam, and all the players just jumping like little kids on in the biggest stage of them all, the World Series. Couldn't happen to a better guy like Tino Martinez, because he had to fill some big shoes of the Don Mattingly era, and I
Absolutely.
and
Yep.
and
Yep.
he and I feel, and I want to say this, I feel he did a great job. And the first year was rough for him, so that was like a big moment for Tino, because like the Donnie baseball, the little monkey on his back got off, and Tino baseball was introduced. And I mean, a sweet guy, couldn't happen to a better guy. And he helped us win that game, man. And It was an incredible moment for Yankee fans and for the Yankee organization.
I can't tell if you're trying to take a breath or you're crying right now over that, but it sounds.
Uh, yeah, I got you're taking me back down almost 25 years, and Alex, when I still see these guys, and when I talk to you in George Steinbrenner, Good Luck Charm, and just going down the history with Ray Negron in the '70s, uh, you see these guys now, and you just get a chuckle when you see each other, and you go down the same way I'm talking with you, and we go down memory lane, and as you get older and you get far removed from the moment, you appreciate it more because you don't see it as often, and when they do replays or Yankee classics, and you see yourself and you see the old players and the great moments, you appreciate it more because these are stories you could tell your kids and your grandkids.
And you have you wrote a book called One Lucky. See the segue there. One Lucky Baseball. I feel like it
It's
was
called the Lucky Baseball.
the Lucky Baseball. Sorry, and
Yeah, it's okay.
but that was inspired by your kids, right? Because it is an illustrated book for kids.
Yeah, Luis Castillo, my youngest son, Chuchi, he drew Squigee, the cartoon character, and this is a kid's book that it took a year for me to write, and I wanted to give hope and inspiration and the never give up mentality to the youth now. Just the George Steinbrenner way, the way he taught us. And, this is a story of a kid trying to fit into society myself. I wasn't accepted in the beginning. And then I found mentors along my journey of life, the David Cohns, the Darryl Strawberries, the Derek Jeters, the Raina Groans, Tina Lewis, the Bleacher Creature, who helped me get the job. And this book is also just paying thank yous to these mentors, making me the man that I am today, because it takes a village to raise a child, and a village raised me.
That is, and I know because you're choked up because of that village mentality from 25 years ago. So tell us how you got there, and maybe retell it because I had you on a couple of years ago already. Maybe we got to refresh the memory of our listeners.
Okay. Yeah. This wouldn't all be possible. It wasn't for, first and foremost, my mom, Milagros Reyes, who lent me the $6 to go to the Yankee game and sit in the right field bleachers with the Bleacher Creatures. And I went with my buddy Alex in '96, and we sat in this lady's seat, and we didn't know that there were assigned seats in the bleachers. So we sat in her seat, and my friend Alex used profanity, and we got kicked out. I never got to see batting practice. I never even got to see the game. And when I got back home, my mom said, "What are you doing? The Yankee game's on TV." She had it in the living room with my dad, and I told her what happened. And the next day, I asked her for $6 more. Went back, and not knowing if I would ever see this lady because I didn't know she was a regular, I bumped into her again, and I apologized on my friend's behalf. And that day she said, "You're nothing like your friend." And I'm glad that you came back and apologized. That shows character and personality. And we became friends that whole season. I would go to every Yankee game with her. I would sit next to her. She introduced me to all the Bleacher Creatures, who are well known now, who do roll call. And I told her what my dream was. I had saw Joe Lee, who was a bat boy at the time, and I saw him on the field, and I would shout his name during batting practice, "Yo, Joe Lee!" And he would, wave. And in '97, Tina Lewis helped me write a letter to Sonny Hyatt, baseball operations, and Tom May, the executive offices, and they granted me a job interview. And at the end of '97, like around this time, I did my interview. I met Brian Cashman. I met Lou Kakuza, Rob Kakuza, the equipment managers, and they took me on the field, and we did a little bit of warming up, and the rest is history. They wrote a letter back in February because I had good grades in school, and they said, "Welcome to the 1998 New York Yankees Batboy staff."
I mean,
And
that's a story only in New York. I swear to God, that's an only New York story.
Yeah. Hey, it's like, Raina Grown too. His story is unique. Doing graffiti on a wall, and George Steinbrenner catches him and gives him a second opportunity. The New York Yankees organization helped a lot of people, whether you're worked at the stadium as a security guard or vendor, grounds crew or Batboy or trainers, you name it. George gave a lot of opportunity to many people in New York, and I'm one that can say on my behalf that I'm so grateful because it saved my life. It changed my life, and at the same time, it took me from probably going down a negative road. And that's why I always would thank Steinbrenner and the Steinbrenner family and the Yankee organization for.
I know, and hearing how be booed at the stadium is rough because we know them behind the scenes. We know they're trying their best, and their dad obviously has just been the stalwart. Even if he's not here, he's still here. So
Hmm.
and for me as a kid, being welcomed by him, that was just fun and exciting as a kid going to the baseball games.
Yeah, I remember seeing you. I remember seeing you in front of the
Now
clubhouse.
I realize the impact of that because he connected me to people like yourself, like Ray, and it's like his legacy for me,
Hmm.
left for me, is continuing in the adult world now, if you will, because I get to talk to all of you and get to know you as people beyond just that little kid rolling around, and I love that.
Yeah, and what's so unique about it, Alex, is we all come from different walks, and but look how love we have for each other because of Steinbrenner. That's what he wanted to build. He wanted to build love, winning, and culture, and and he was always a person about second chances and helping people out, and that's what this world needs more of. And I guess we're doing his work for him still. You know, he's gone, he's removed, but he's watching over us, and we're still continuing. Me, you, Ray, and a couple of other people, even players that you see doing charities like Jeter, Judge, Cone, you name it, and El Duque, all these guys still helping kids, and that's what George was about because tradition carries on. I mean, it's a father and son game. And, you want to see fathers take their kids to a Yankee game and learn the history from when the Yankees started till now. Not just the dynasty run, not just the great moments, just enjoying some, Yankee love baseball. That's what I call it. And, just giving each other the opportunity to create memories together. And baseball saved a lot of people's lives. And George did, a wonderful job in that. And I'm so grateful for that organization for that.
Absolutely. And by the way, we're getting to the darker months. I mean, I know it's Christmas time and all the lights, but I always
Hmm.
think talking baseball as we hit these colder months does
Hmm.
something for the serotonin, right?
Yes, yeah, yes. um, the holidays, man. I be honest, this is the depressing months for me. Why? Because baseball's out, but you look forward to new moves, new players that are coming in or people that are gonna get let go, and you see what comes for next, what the product is going to be for next year for the Yankees. And I wish baseball was all year round, but you just pray for the best. I mean, it was a great year. I We fell short, and I know it's a fail season when you fall short because of the runs that the Yankees have had in the past. But pluses came out of this year. You had guys that never gave up. That Cleveland series was kind of tough, and you saw a character and a team that resembled to the '98 team. They fought back. They didn't give up, and you just hope that Cashman and the brand can just add a couple of more pieces to finally get that last out and host that trophy over our heads. And they're close. They're very close. And I feel they're doing a great job. I mean, you have to fail in order to appreciate the glory.
Well, can you imagine? You got Harrison Bader. Can you imagine Bader, Judge, and Cabrera a full year? Like, I don't know.
Oh man, it's
I'm
a
very optimistic about that idea.
yeah, it's a very young outfield. I think the rookie presented himself well. Bader just showed that he can produce, and we all know
He
what Judge is
quieted the
capable of.
cynics. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, he's on the IR," and then he comes in and he becomes a darling like in a month,
It's
and
like lightning in a bottle. It's like
that's why
lightning. It's like
baseball is amazing to me.
Yeah, it's like almost the trade when we got David Justice in 2000. Lightning in a bottle. He was just a perfect fit, and he tore it up the half season and in the postseason. Uh, I think Bader's going to do good. I mean, I don't know him personally. I don't know all these guys personally, but from seeing as a fan now, I like that outfield. I like the youth of it. It has many years together if it can stay healthy. and they can produce. I mean, Judge is young, Bader's young, and Cabrera. I mean, you got a speedy and some arms out there. You got some speed out there, and you got some arms and some people that can cover ground.
I'm glad we're talking now because I just realized the Bat Boy is going on tour on November 29th at the
Hmm.
Yogi Bear Museum. A, are you there? And will the Lucky Baseball make an appearance? Will you be doing a book tour at all? And what a great gift for the holidays, right?
Yeah, can't wait to reunite with everyone for the Bat Boy tour. We will be at November 29th at the Yogi Berra Museum. Uh, that is something that fans should come out and see. It takes you back to the 70s with a little twist. You know, Ray, he always has his little twists. He adds things from the dynasty and the 90s and talks about, the good times with Steinbrenner, second chances. It's a roller coaster. It's emotional. It makes you laugh. It makes you cry. It takes you back and it leaves you with an awe at the end. And everyone should come out. It's $20. It's to help a family in need. That's what Ray and the Bat Boy cast always do. We all do it for free. No one makes money off of this. We just do this to keep the Yankee George Steinbrenner tradition alive, and helping people in need. And then the Lucky Baseball. Will I be there? Yes, I will be there. Uh, I play Edwin. I play Ray's cousin in a gang scene. It's a very important scene because it talks about gun violence, which is still going on to this day, and parents burying a child, which should never happen. Should come check that scene out as well, and then the whole play. And the Lucky Baseball is going on tour. I just came back from Kansas City. I spoke to a couple of kids in school. I read the book. They loved it, and it's doing great on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. Thank God first. And it's a positive message for kids now. And thanking my mentors. And we're going to Connecticut next, and we're going to try to go to Miami. But the book's doing good, and we're going to do a book signing probably before Christmas at the Barnes and Nobles on 81st Street with Newman Springs Publishing, my company.
Very cool. Well, maybe we'll do a like a podcast with it. That would be so cool.
Yeah, that'd be
Hey,
great. Yeah. Hmm.
Luigi, I am scrolling your Facebook feed because you got a lot going on, and I see that today it's
Hmm.
you were talking because you did lose your dad. You want to talk about that
Hmm.
real quick, and I mean, is talking on a day like this easy? Is it cathartic for you?
Well, it was hard in the beginning. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that, my brother. I really do. I did post about my dad. Today makes 23 years ago that God gave him his wings. And my dad played a pivotal role in my life. The guy, little white lie that he told me that he was a professional signed baseball player in the Dominican Republic, and my dad was shorter than me. Said he threw 90 miles per hour, and I believed him at 9 years old, and that wanted me to play baseball. But he would play catch with me, teach me, but he had no clue about how to play the game. But that little lie made me appreciate and love baseball so much and love him so much, for just trying to get me to love something with him. And seeing today, as I talk with family members and I spoke with my mom earlier today, it's no longer tears of sadness. It's tears of joy, just remembering the good times with him, the short period of time I got to know him, being his son, and the times we spent together. And I wish he would have seen his grandkids, but they always resemble him. All my four kids. Uh, I almost named all of them after him, some way,
Oh,
somehow. But my dad raised a good kid in me, and I'm grateful for my mom and him, and to every kid out there that if you lost a parent or you lost a dad, they're not gone. They watch over you every day. I believe in that. I'm very spiritual, and I feel that my dad is very proud of all the accomplishments I made after his passing.
all right. Real quick, and by the way, I mean this cultural that you talk about. Do you pass down the culture to your kids now? Like, do you feel that not just name, but I mean literally the culture that he created for you? I feel like you're passing it down to your kids now, right?
Yeah, yeah, Alex. I show my kids, and again, I'm being biased. I don't show them any other baseball games. I show them only Yankee games, and I give them the chance to let's go Yankees, and my kids do it. From Luis Castillo, my oldest, my 14-year-old, my 11-year-old Steven, to Zaire, 17 months, and now my 6-month-old Easton. And just seeing these kids put on a Yankee T-shirt, watch a game with me, is something that I did with my dad, and I'm so appreciative that I've gotten the opportunity to do it with my kids. And
I got
that, and that's more
yeah.
for more for the Yankees, more Yankee fans on board for the New York Yankee organization.
Hey, gotta love that. All right, I can't let you go without asking about the health of Chuchi because I know that your youngest had some health scares right around the time you had COVID. I mean, that was a perfect storm. You both
Yeah,
got out of that though. So how is he doing?
he's doing great. Chuchi's a fighter, and Steven, and they're I'm glad that COVID has calmed down a little bit, but it was some tough times a couple of years ago, and a scary time, especially when we were losing a lot of people. And you don't forget those people you lost, and seeing my kids fight through that, they're warriors, and I'm proud of that. And I always teach them the importance of, first take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of others. And I'm so proud of them. And Lewis, I just want to give a quick shout, Alex, if you allow me. Lewis is on honor roll in school again, and I'm so proud of his work. Lewis, I just wish you the best in life, and you're a good kid, and you are a future leader, buddy. And you are the household. You're the head of the house, man. And I love Lewis and what he represents. He's a good kid and has a bright future.
Oh, I love that, and that I love that you're able to say that here. That's awesome. Hey, one last thing: when Ray breaks
Mm-hmm.
down telling his story,
Mm-hmm.
affect you at all? Like, I mean, we've been with him tour in and tour out with this show, but
Yeah,
every time it feels that extra oomph, doesn't it?
yeah. Ray's a brother, and if he's listening, Ray, I just got to tell you, man, you helped me out a lot, brother, and him helping, letting me be a part of this and acting in it, and he asks me for my opinion when we do rehearsing. Uh, he knows I started as a fan watching his play in Long Island at the Babylon Theater, and I cried the first time he gave me a ticket to watch it, and he asked me, uh, why that raw emotion from you? I said, I wasn't born in the 70s, but just hearing your story and being a Bronx native, you give hope and inspiration to people like me and others, and just Ray's story is unique. He's a very proud man. I'm proud to be his friend and help so many people, and he doesn't want credit for it. And he has a lot of pressure that, goes on in his life where, he feels that he has to take care of so many people, and he doesn't stop to take time for himself, and that shows a character of a man, and I'm just proud to call him a brother, and I love his story, and people should come check out November 29th at the Yogi Berra Museum, this wonderful Bronx native story, or Bronx boy.
I hope you don't mind because I'm getting this idea. We gotta feature more Bat Boys on here because the stories
Mm-hmm.
you guys have from the '70s with Raymond, well, '60s to '70s to Ray to you. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much to unhash, and the Bat Boy doesn't get enough recognition in general. It's just like, okay, here's the kid running on the field, getting it back and going back,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah, Bat Boys are superheroes. Alex, you should know. You've seen it. You're a superhero yourself. You know what goes on behind the scenes and how long hours and tough it is. And the players appreciate. The players do appreciate, and that's what people say. They think it's just picking up a bat, high fiving the player, or cleaning their cleats and warming up with one of the players. No, no, you have to keep these guys' lockers clean. You got to do favors for them, so they can stay focused as much as possible on the game and less distractions for them. And you're almost like a babysitter to an adult. And it's funny, right? It should be the other way around, Alex, where the player takes care of the bat boy and gives them advice. And usually a bat boy helps out a lot in these people in these players' lives. And some bat boys become real close with players. And like I said, David Cohn and Darryl Strawberry and a couple of Latino players like Bernie and Posada and Tino, who I still talk to this day, and Ruben Sierra. Uh, you know,
yeah, Ruben.
with their
He had two tours. I think he was here in the '90s and back later in the
Hmm.
2005.
George Steinbrenner loved them. Steinbrenner loved them. One, because they loved horses, and Ruben loved, loved the big moment, and always strived in the big moment. And Steinbrenner brought him back the second time. That was pretty unique. Gave him a second chance, and
He had
Ruben
a
is
couple big
always
hits. I
stuck.
remember that back in the
Yeah,
day. Hey,
yeah.
while I have you, to the Yankee fan right now that does say, the team should be so older. Cashman should be this, or Boone should be this. I mean, look,
Hmm.
we all are frustrated, right? But from your insider perspective, how do you calm
Hmm.
the fan down right now? I mean, this place is gonna burn up if we lose.
That that's that's a good question. You know that, Alex. And to be honest, this is coming from the heart. Because I'm both. I worked for them before, and I'm a fan, and I was a fan before I worked for them. Um, I was very disappointed with a lot of Yankee fans, because I understand when, even when we were playing in the dynasty era, you would boo a player because, and the players would know when you're booing them. But when you overextend the boos, a player gets, you know, frustrated too. And it's not like they're not trying to get out of a slump. Trust me, they're trying. And why? Because I can tell you, I've been there. I've seen players like El Duque go through a slide and they'll figure out to get back on a winning streak. You see David Cone trying to get creative on a mound. It's not like these guys are not trying. They're trying. Jeter has gone into slumps, and he's always working on getting his way out back when he was playing. So, I was there for the Houston Astros game 4. We were up 5-4 in the 7th inning. And I've never, Alex, left, never left a Yankee game in my life until the last inning. And why I left? Because I was disgusted with some of the fan base. Um, we're you're booing and booing, and then you get happy when they score a run. It should be both ways. You should be cheering these guys on to rally for the run instead of booing them. You
I
know,
remember we used to clap for every pitch back in the day. Like
yeah,
like,
even if he failed, even if he
even if we were
failed,
down by 5, we were clapping like,
yeah,
all right, here's a ball. Now we get to the next pitch. Like that type of stuff.
yeah, and exactly, Alex. So I left because I said the atmosphere was not what it used to be, and I'm telling you, the bleacher creatures go hard. They're cheering through the good and the bad. They're rallying behind their team, and a lot of people think that that's coming from the bleacher creatures booing. That really is not coming from them. That is coming from other areas in the sections of the stadium. Because why? I was there, and they weren't booing. They get upset when they don't score a run, but they weren't are not the ones that starting the chance of fire Boone and stuff like that. That's not coming from the old school bleacher creatures, and I can tell you that I'm taking their defense, because they get hammered a lot for anything that happens at the stadium with visiting
Sure.
players or anything. But they're diehards. They're passionate. But the fan base needs to relax. Give Aaron Boone a chance. I mean, guys, we've been to the playoffs every year. Every year, that's a chance. There's other organizations that don't even sniff the playoffs. You know, and Brian Cashman, I understand. When you lose, Joe Torre always say this: when you lose, someone needs to get the blame. Someone has to take the axe. And that's not right. Because Joe Torre believed in it's a team effort. And it's a whole collective. So Brian Cashman is doing the best that he can do, and I'm proud of what he's doing. I mean, you know, players go through slumps. I mean, sometimes you go cold at the wrong moments. It happens. But, can we get better? Yes. But we got to do this together as a fan base, as an organization, and as the product on the field. But
Well,
we
let's be
should give
honest here,
we
but
mhm.
him signing IKF and Trevino were huge, okay? And
Correct. Yes.
I know that goes under the radar, but look, they were a big part of this. I know IKF struggled in the playoffs, but here was my question: it's like,
Hmm.
okay, he
Hmm.
may not be feeling it, but he was your shortstop all year. Why are you not playing him until the last game? Like he should have been there consistently in the playoffs. That was
Yeah.
my thing, and that was a Cashman move. He got IKF and Trevino 1-2 punch, and then of course he brought Oswaldo Cabrera, then Perez, and the Bader. I mean, look, we
Yeah.
missed
I feel
but
the media played a part in that. We're in. I'm correct me if I'm wrong. This is me looking in. Um, the media. So now the fans are booing, and now you got pressure from the fans, and now you got the media printing every paper. IKF needs to sit. IKF this. IK or this guy needs to sit. This guy needs to move up in the lineup. This guy needs to go down in the lineup. And I feel we're in a different era because Joe Torre didn't care about newspapers. He really didn't. Um, I feel we're in a different era because now you got phones everywhere. You got a phone in your face every time. You got a camera in your face.
And if you're
Um,
Giannis, you got a foul shot being videoed where you
yeah,
manhandle the
yeah,
Philadelphia guy, right?
and you get any little thing gets leaked, and you got trouble because the media is not going to let it down. So I feel the media played a part in the judgment and the calling and decision making of the Yankee organization and Aaron Boone, because that's not doesn't come just from Aaron Boone. That comes as a whole collectively that decision happened. And the guy did a great job. I like IKF. I don't think he's I think he's a backup. I don't think he's a starter. But you're right. This year he held his fort the best way he could. And I mean, the guy defensively, made a couple of errors, but saved us a lot of games and helped
He
out
got
too. He
better
played.
over the season. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Let's put it that correct. Thank you. And I just feel as Yankee fans, we're tense because we haven't won in almost 22 years, or we have 2009 was our last one.
Yeah, 13 going on 14.
Yeah,
And, you know,
13.
my
Yeah.
biggest criticism, and you could agree, was the
Hmm.
Carpenter situation. Okay,
Oh, that was a beautiful. Yeah.
it's not like the old days where these guys would come off the bench and then all of a sudden, I mean, this is pressure. He didn't do
Yeah.
well, and I just
Hmm.
thought, you didn't play him at all in September. So my only
Yeah.
critique was leave him on the bench. I don't know why you want to put him in the starting lineup because you could have put I don't know a Goshioka or someone in there as well.
Yeah. I feel we went in there hurting, and Alex better than anybody that when a team goes into and you're in the postseason, you don't got time for breaks like a regular season. When you go in with injuries, you had Hicks during the game get injured. You got some guys like Carpenter. He had a foot problem, didn't play all year, didn't play all September. So these little factors that you go in and we are a short bench as it was. It's not making any excuses because we don't believe in excuses in the Yankee world. But you know, when you go up against a Houston Astros, which I say they're the New York Yankees, whether you hate them or love them, they're a force. And when you got a team that's weak and that's hurting, going up against a star-studded team that's healthy and they're hitting you from every angle, I mean, it can get frustrating, of course, to fans, to the players, to the organization. But that's just the thing. Health is the most important thing, and I think Carpenter gave us a good run when he came. Mid-season was like lightning in a bottle with the home runs back to back. I mean, we were all like, wow, we got some power off the bench now. And I just think, like you said, it was just not the right timing of, should somebody else should have got that roster spot. And just, hey, thank you, Carpenter, for what you've done for us. But, you haven't grabbed a bat. You at that point, you're just begging for another lightning in the bottle to strike twice in a season. And that's tough to ask for a lot from an athlete that's hurt.
Especially in a pinch hitting role. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
With all that being said, I am so glad that we had this conversation. And, I can't tell. Do you follow the Yankees daily? I don't know. I don't. You seem like you don't know anything about this team, Luigi. Still, so I'm
Yeah, no, I do. It's just
kidding with you. Of course
no,
you do. I
I
love
do.
that.
I love even though I'm far removed from my post bat boy career, I follow them from spring training, Alex, till the end of the last out of whatever round or World Series. I don't watch if the Yankees get eliminated. I don't watch the World Series. You asked me about the World Series. I did not watch one inning because I am a diehard. I believe in, if we lose, it's a failing season. And I feel that, baseball is not baseball if the Yankees are not in it.
Well, then you must have been pissed I was wearing a Philly shirt afterwards because I just
I'm not mad at you at that because you are brotherly love, and that is a brotherly love state. And I'm
as
only 30. I'm only 30 minutes removed, far. from Philadelphia. So
Hey, Rob
no, seeing
Thompson.
you,
Yeah, I mean that was a Yankee
yeah,
monster in a way.
yeah, yeah. I met Rob Thompson as a bat boy, so I was really proud for him. But I just couldn't watch because it's hard not to see the Yankees in there, and you didn't want to get any memories of bad taste. But kudos to Rob Thompson as well. I mean, the guy's a great guy. When he was with us as a coach, he loved the Bat Boys. He was well loved in the clubhouse. He definitely turned that dynamic around for the Philadelphia organization after Joe Girardi, who's another great guy and deserves another chance to manage somewhere else. I think he was he didn't get a fair shot, but
Well,
baseball's like that.
it was the post firing of the whole unanimous Yankees coming out and saying he was a rough manager. Big deal. You're a guy. Play the game.
Play the game, yeah. I mean, when he was with us in 2009, I mean, I was there when he was a catcher. He always had that mentality of, working hard, staying late. Even when the game was over, Girardi wasn't in the car going home. He was taking hacks in the batting cage. He just loves the game.
Everybody
I
talks
mean,
about Leyritz's home run, but that triple against the Braves in the World
oh,
Series.
amazing! I was a fan at that point. I was watching that with my dad. Thank you brought that up, Alex. I mean, the slide into third base, yo. I mean, stretching a triple. Who would have thought? And it was a key moment in that run. But he's a great guy to work with. I wish and I hope and I pray that he does get another opportunity in the big leagues as a coach or a manager, because he really puts his all into things. The media are painting it the wrong way. He doesn't have a bad attitude. He's a very religious guy, and his wife Kim is a beautiful person. So hopefully he gets another job. But like I said, kudos to Rob Thompson for what he's done, and it goes shows you that you come from the Yankee organization, no matter where you go, you're always going to be a winner because it's the mentality that George Steinbrenner has embedded in all of us.
100%. And real quick, I saw him when he unfortunately got hit by the foul ball and was wheeled out of the stadium. Thank God he recovered that. But that was a moment. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And he was another guy. Mel and all of them back in the day
Old
sitting
school.
at the gate. They all came through and said the hi, so
Yeah.
were
Mel,
personable.
let me tell you something. Mel Stottlemyre held us Bat Boys accountable if we didn't score runs. Funny in a funny way. Mel Stottlemyre, the late great Mel, who I loved and adored, it was a great mentor to me as well. And that's David Cohn's like best teacher and mentor as well. um, Mel, when I was in the dugout as a ball boy, would throw pumpkin seeds in the back of my head if we were losing by 1 or 2 runs, and he would tell me, "Hey, Squeegee, get in the clubhouse." And I would be doing baseballs, like handing baseballs to umpires on every third foul ball, and I would have to have, whether it was George Brown, the bat boy, do both. I would have to go sit in the coach's room on a small TV in the old Yankee Stadium, sit there and pray. And until Mel Stottlemyre would come in and say, "Okay, we tied the game. You can go back out into the dugout." And it would be a trick.
Superstition, man. What can I tell
Yeah,
you?
it would be a normal tradition every time he would throw pumpkin seeds at me, and I would look back, and he was like, "Get me some runs." And it's just beautiful stories that the old school way of baseball. You need more of that now, I think, and that's what the
Hey,
game is
Luigi,
missing.
can people follow your Facebook page? I see it's public, so can they
Yeah,
go and hit the follow or like or even
yeah,
friend you?
yeah. They can follow me. I follow back. I actually write to a lot of people. Like they write to me on DM or comments. I like people's stuff. I'm very interacting with Yankee fans or anybody. They can follow me on Facebook. It's Luigi Luigi Squeegee Squeegee on Facebook, and on Instagram is I am Squeegee.
I love that, Luigi. Well, let's stay in touch. I actually took the day off a week from Tuesday, so I'm going to venture down there. I think to see you guys. I'd love to reconnect. It's been a while, so
Yeah, it's been a while,
come on
brother.
and join us if you want. I mean, we'll all be at Montclair State. Well, yeah, on the campus at the Yogi Berra Museum, a great museum, by the way.
Great, beautiful museum. Yes,
Next
beautiful. A
time
lot of historic stuff.
you gotta tell me Yogi stories next time and other stuff, and of course maybe when spring training, because something about Steinbrenner Field and Legends Field, that Tampa month,
Mhm.
feels very
I
special. Like
I
you're
made a promise. I made a promise to Ray. It's been 2 years he's been asking me. So this year I'm going down for a week for spring training. Probably the third week of February.
maybe you'll give us a live update from there. That'd be awesome. Hey, I'm
Yes.
Alex Garrett. This sports spotlight has been on one Luigi Squigee Castillo, Batboy of the 98 and 99. When were you there exactly? All through the 90s? Or?
All through the 90s, 98 to 2005.
Amazing. Wow. A lot of stories to come from you, I'm sure, in the next few episodes. So we'll have you back.
Thank you guys for having me, Alex. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Happy holidays. God bless everyone. And let's stay positive.
Happy Thanksgiving, Luigi. And I'm Alex Garrett. This has been the Alex Garrett Sports Spotlight.